Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid podcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, guys, we're going to be previewing tomorrow's big match against Chelsea. We're going to be looking at the quotes from Hansi Flick, Rafinha, Cucurella, and Maresca. But later on tonight, guys, I will be uploading a longer formatted video, the episode for tonight, as I have brought on a special guest. So make sure to tune in for that. And apologies, my voice is sounding a little bit sick. No, my voice is sounding a little bit raspy because I am feeling a little bit under the weather. So please deal with that, and I apologize for any nuisances or I would say disturbances, sort of say. But guys, as always, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Everything's posted down below, and as well, the link to become a member is also posted down below. But as always, guys, let's get started with the video. All right, guys, let's get started with the video. And I first want to be looking at the words from the opposition, from Chelsea. As Marco Cucurella, he did talk about, what it's going to be like facing Lamine Yamal, because that is going to be a big and tough test for the Spanish left back. Cucurella, he was already teasing Lamine Yamal. He says, he told Estevão, his Chelsea teammate, I told Estevão to wear shin pads in training because I need to practice. That's in regards to his duel with Lamine. But current teammates with the Spanish national team, Cucurella has lots of respect and admiration for Lamine Yamal. He talked about the comparisons between Estevão and Lamine. And he says both are very special, very talented, and always want the ball. They can decide matches. The difference is that Lamine has already been playing in Europe for seasons, but Estevão is doing very well, and if he keeps progressing, he can reach that level. Barcelona, we were in the race for the Brazilian winger, but Chelsea came in, offered the money, and managed to swoop him up. Chelsea continues to talk about that duel with Lamine Yamal, and he says, tomorrow isn't Lamine versus Cucurella. It will be a tough battle, but hopefully we can play well and win. Against players like this, you never know what they'll do, but I know him a bit, and I have my team's support. It's 11 against 11. We hope to take all 3 points because they're very important for us. And that's the perspective from Chelsea. Chelsea, they're going to be looking to stop Lamine Yamal, Barcelona's most creative player, and limit the amount of opportunities that he has on the ball. Maresca, he spoke about Hansi Flick, spoke about what his Chelsea team can learn from Hansi Flick, and they said Flick's Barca seems spectacular to me. Whenever I watch them, you can learn something. Last year, they won La Liga and reached the Champions League semi-finals. They do many things well, and it's a team that always wants to take the initiative. Will try to do the same. And so Maresca talks about Barcelona's defensive high line, and he says that is something to take into account, and we need good balance between defense and attack. And that's where Barcelona, they're going to have to be very focused. We saw some adjustments being made in these past couple of games, but especially in the game against the Athletic Club, in which Barcelona, they took a step back. They weren't exactly on the halfway line. They weren't as risky in regards to that high line. And against Chelsea, recognizing the quality that they have, recognizing some of the pace that some of their players they have, and the quality on the ball with some of their players, Barcelona, I don't think we can afford to have that high line be all the way, on the halfway line and being as aggressive as we've seen, in these past couple of weeks slash months. You take a look at that game against Club Brugge, in which Barcelona, we were torn apart. Chelsea with a much better attack, that they will make us pay and they will make us struggle if we aren't on top of our game. Enzo Maresca continues on. He talks about Pep and how Barcelona changed football. And he says, if teams decide to play in another style, they're free to choose. I chose my style years ago. It's how I'd like to see my team play. No one can compare themselves to Pep's Barcelona. They changed football in Spain, with all the teams trying to play like that. Pep went to Germany and the national team won. He came to England and there were teams that also wanted to play like him, and the national team also grew. No one can compare. And that's the GOAT manager, Pep being the absolute GOAT. And Enzo Maresca, he talks about, he says, and I quote, I decided to become a coach because of Guardiola's Barça. And it's crazy to see how much influence Pep Guardiola has on the world of football, just influencing everyone and just adding influence, or what's the word that I'm saying? Just just influencing everything, sort of say. Apologies for that, guys. I was just having like a little brain fart and everything. But looking on Barcelona's perspective on the side, looking at Barcelona's stance ahead of the match, we have some good news as Marcus Rashford. He has been declared fit and available for tomorrow's match against Chelsea. He is in the squad list, as you guys can see right here. This is the official squad, and it's great to see so many players back in it. You see Joan Garcia back, you see Frankie de Jong back, you see Rafinha, you see Marcus Rashford back. There's so many quality players back in the squad after what was, a lengthy absence for some of them, some longer than others. Still no Gavi, still no Ter Stegen, and hopefully this squad has the capability in order to beat Chelsea. Not hopefully, we do have the talent, but it's whether we can be effective and get the 3 points tomorrow. Now looking at Hansi Flick's words ahead of tomorrow's match against Chelsea, Hansi Flick, he responded to that praise from Maresca in regards to Guardiola's Barça. And he says, about Pep, when you watched his Barcelona play, everyone was in love with that team. Everyone admired the style, how they played, and how they trained. When Guardiola went to Germany, I wouldn't say we copied him, but we definitely looked at how he worked. He showed many coaches the right way to train or create a philosophy, but it's always different. You can't copy him. He's unbelievable, the best coach, and Maresca is right. Many coaches follow that path. And when you're arguably the most successful coach in the history of the sport, there's going to be lots of people trying to replicate that success. Hansi Flick talks about Rafinha. He says, step by step with Rafa. For me, the important thing is that he's back. About his minutes and about how much he'll play, we'll decide that. He's had the same injury twice, and that's not good at this stage of the season, so we'll be careful. I'm very happy he returned because as soon as he played on Saturday, we saw the difference, the dynamicism, not dynamicism, the dynamism, the spaces he created. I'm really happy to have him back. And I was actually really surprised that Rafinha, he only played roughly 10 minutes against Athletic Club. I was expecting a little bit more, but understanding his return from injury, it's completely understandable. And the indication from Hansi Flick and the amount of minutes that he has played is that he's going to be featuring against Chelsea, but not from the start. And it's most likely going to be Ferran or Marcus Rashford to replace him. And that's where Hansi Flick speaks about Marcus Rashford. Hansi Flick says, I'm very happy for Marcus. He's back from a cold and he's fine. Tomorrow I'll decide whether he starts or comes off the bench. I'm happy to have him in the team, playing for Barça. I followed him throughout his career, and his quality has always impressed me. What he can do in the box, and he's showing that here in Barcelona. This changed for him, new football, Barcelona, good weather. It's incredible to see how he's always smiling. That's the atmosphere we have, and it's very good for him. We've seen Marcus Rashford be the best Marcus Rashford that we've seen in recent years. Hansi Flick talks about the importance of winning. He says, our goal is to qualify among the top 8, but we know it's not easy. And last year showed that even if you're not in the top 8, you can still win the Champions League. What matters is giving our best version and playing at the highest level because it's the Champions League. Playing against Chelsea is fantastic. I have very good memories here, and I hope tomorrow adds another one. Let's have our fingers crossed. And I want to end off the video looking at Rafinha because there were some very, very big words from Rafinha and everything I absolutely loved from what Rafinha was saying. Rafinha, he was showing that leadership, and me being honest, guys, I'm looking at these quotes and I'm thinking, give the captain's armband to Rafinha. Make him the number one captain because Rafinha is a born leader. And I want to be diving into those quotes right now. Rafinha, he talks about that press conference. He says, being able to play is already something special for me. I've been out for 2 months, and for a footballer to be sidelined for that long is quite difficult. There are situations more complicated than mine, but I always want to be on the pitch, and this time has been tough for me. He talks about his injuries. He says, I had a really tough time. It was a difficult period. I always want to be on the pitch, helping the team and playing as many minutes as possible. Spending these 2 months without being able to play was very difficult personally. Coming back after 2 months injured is a bit complicated. I need match fitness, and I hope to get back to the version people are expecting from me as soon as possible. And that's Rafinha recognizing that there is pressure upon his shoulders. Rafinha, a leader into the team, he needs to return back to that level of performance. Rafinha continues on. He says, there may have been mistakes, but the truth is I've had 2 relapses of my injury. The first was partly my fault, and I think the second was too. I can take responsibility for that because ultimately I do things, and if I think they won't help me, I should be the first to say no. I take responsibility for the 2 relapses because I wanted to be back on the field as soon as possible to help the team. I made some mistakes, and that's why I had those 2 relapses. So right there, Rafinha recognizing that, saying, hey, the reason for this relapse is my fault. I rushed myself back. I most likely have mentioned to Hansi Flick or the coaching staff that I was ready when I was not. And I respect that from Rafinha. Rafinha, he talks about playing at the Stamford Bridge. He says, being able to play again in this stadium is special for me. It's a stadium I loved. I played here several times and scored. I hope to do so again tomorrow. I hope to help the team if the manager plays me. I'll give it my all. He talked about Barcelona being a candidate for the Champions League, and this is the quote I want to be looking at. He says, if you look at all my interviews about the Champions League, I've always said that playing for this club, the main objective has to be winning the Champions League, and it's been my goal since I've arrived. Last year, we narrowly missed out on the final, but this year I see the team as more mature than last season. And if we have moments like that, perhaps we'll approach it differently. It's a very tough competition, but we'll do everything we can to give our best and reach the final and win it. Perfect from Rafinha. Rafinha talks about Chelsea in a little bit more detail. He says every season is different. The last time Barca was here, and now there have been many changes, both in terms of players and at the club in general. Every season is different. Last season, we played spectacular matches on spectacular grounds. Every match is different, and this will be a spectacular one. They are 2 great teams, and the one that makes fewer mistakes will surely come out on top. And he ended off talking about his decision on why he chose Barcelona over Chelsea. He says, I was 100% clear about what I wanted, which was to fulfill my dream of wearing the Barca shirt. That's why I trusted, and I'm here today wearing the Barca shirt. Since my last match with Leeds, I knew about the possibility of wearing the Barca shirt, and I knew about Chelsea's interest. But I had a dream I had to fulfill, and I gave 100% to be able to wear the Barca shirt. I turned a blind eye to other teams that wanted to sign me. I had a dream, and I did everything possible to play for Barca. Right there, Rafinha is showing his loyalty and his admiration to the team. And there's a couple more quotes that we can maybe look on. Rafinha talked about defensive work, talked about some differences between Estevão and Lamine Yamal. He talks about the upcoming match against Chelsea, but most of the quotes that I have touched upon, I don't want to make the video too long and just absolutely bore you guys to death. But some interesting quotes right there from Hansi Flick, from Maresca, from Cucurella. Tomorrow is going to be a big match against Chelsea. It's going to be a match in which isn't going to decide the tone of or be definitive in the result, but it's definitely going to set a tone in how the team's going to be feeling emotionally and psychologically ahead of the upcoming matches to close out the rest of the year. But guys, as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Oh, and last thing, remember, I will be uploading later on throughout the day a video or an episode with a special guest. So make sure to tune in for that, in which we talk about Chelsea's match against Barcelona in a little bit more detail. But as always, guys, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.